Hello, I'm Miss Emma and I've created something called the SpeechSoundPics approach to make the teaching of reading and spelling easier and also the learning of it. Most children in the early years have no idea what a vowel or a letter or a consonant really is, what the concepts are behind them. Even though they might say letters A, B, C, D, they don't really understand what they're for, what their purpose is within reading and spelling. So we start off by developing phonemic awareness, the biggest predictor of reading failure or success, and we help children to hear those smaller parts in words and to identify them so they can blend them, segment them and manipulate them, even before we've started using terms such as vowels, whatever. When children can hear s in a word and then I say, what if we were to take a picture of this speech sound with our speech sound camera, they understand what I'm talking about because they understand what a picture is. They understand the concept of a picture being a visual representation of something. So when they see a picture of a dog, they see a dog. Well, this is just a picture of a speech sound, something they can't see, so we're going to turn it into something they can see. So the speech sounds on our words are turned into pictures of speech sounds, and that's why we call them speech sound pics. It also makes it easier for us to say, well, this is one of the pictures for the speech sound s, but do you know there are actually 8 or 9 of them? And that's when we look at the speech sound clouds, because the speech sound clouds show all of the pictures for the speech sounds, or the ones that we've discovered so far. The speech sound cloud poems bring it all to life in meaningful context, and putting everything in meaningful context and relating it back to what we're doing, which is reading and spelling, is really, really important. Phonics taught in isolation is really not as effective as teaching phonics within meaningful context. Within the SpeechSoundPics approach, there's actually a speech sound cloud and also a speech sound cloud poem for every speech sound in the English language. Children learn to recognise a and to hear a in words far more effectively when they know a poem like a is a sound you'll hear a lot, but not in tin or pin or cot. You'll find it in the middle of a word like pat, and also hat and mat and rat. The children get involved. We're including music, which is really important, rhyming, singing, but it's in meaningful context. It's really, really important. Now, it's really important as well to do this early, and actually as children are learning to speak, this is a great time to be introducing these concepts, and we're doing it in a way that is natural and age appropriate. But we want children to be able to hear those speech sounds in words and to be able to blend them. But think about what happens when we're listening for those speech sounds and we don't really understand those links, and we haven't, especially if we haven't done it early. Supposing you're trying to spell a word, so when you're spelling a word and you don't know, you mainly listen for what you can hear. So if you're writing man, you want to hear n. But think about if you're an Australian and you don't say man, you say man. Or from New Zealand and you don't say man, you say min. All these different accents make a big difference to how the child understands how to hear those sounds and then how to translate them on paper. And this is why even if they're trying to hear them, they can often find it really, really difficult. If I'm going to spell man and I don't know how to spell it, and I'm in Australia, I might go but then might look for the speech sound cloud for air, n, because I can hear air in the middle, and there is a cloud for air. So this is why the SpeechSoundPics approach helps children discover the code. When you're teaching phonics explicitly and systematically, it isn't enough, because you're teaching it explicitly and systematically as if you have an English accent, whereas most of the children don't. So it's really important to understand those differences and understand how to overcome them. And all the simple concepts that we use within the SpeechSoundPics approach, like the Speech Sound Detective, Speech Sound Harry, whatever, are helping children's brains put it all together. Because if we allow children to discover it in a really, really great environment, learning environment, and we're guiding them, then the children will make sense of it far more easily than by you trying to teach it. The children will then be able to not only read man and translate the sounds on the paper for into man, because as they're reading it with their accent. The man has a whatever. It also means for the spelling, and this again is why reading can often be the children can often read and not spell very well because the discrepancies between accent, let alone actually having the skills to the phonemic awareness and whatever to be able to put it all together, is really very, very difficult. And most teachers aren't getting training in this, and especially not in the fine nitty-gritty bits that I'm trying to help you with. I've put together here just a little video of the explicit teaching order. So that means the order that we're teaching the children, but at the same time there's all the inquiry learning. This explicit part of the teaching of phonics is just one small part. The order within SSP is more or less the same as letters and sounds in the UK, so that we can share resources. But also remember that this is only about 70 of the phonemes. There are about 150 that the children need to learn. But by using these most commonly used ones, along with the readers, so they're putting it all together and blending in meaningful context, we can really give children a really good head start. But learning the other 70 at the same time through inquiry learning is also what we do within the SpeechSoundPics approach. It's why every child can read by 6. The SSP approach is actually created through BRICS, bringing research into classroom for kids, for dyslexic brains, because at the moment in Australia, we're not using things as a preventative approach in the early years to prevent the reading and difficulties associated with dyslexia. If you use SSP in the early years, prep and year 1, you are fully dyslexia friendly. You're including strategies effective for every brain in mainstream education. But if you listen as they're going through this and they're trying to say the sounds before I do, this is an important part for the reading brain because it's that quick recall, it's that quick link between the phoneme or grapheme and the speech sound that I'm saying. But you also have to understand that we also need to help children with the listening and then putting it together. And this is where the Speech Sound King really comes into play. So please join me on Facebook, facebook.com, Read Australia. See if you can say the speech sound before I do. S, A, T, P, I, N. Purple level. D, G, J, O, S, K, 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 E, A, B, F, F, O, S, yellow level. J, V, W, X, Y, E, I, Z, Z, Q, Ch, Sh, the, th, A, E, I, O, U, A, I, blue level. R, O, ow, O, oi, air, a, oi, ow, ooh, or, e, I, oo, q, e, e, a, o, w, f, u, o, your, are, air, j, ear, a, e, I, o, oo, u,